Welcome back, STEM students, to Mampaisad's online classroom. Today, we are going to have another lecture video, and we are already in Module 8. Module 8 will be discussed in 2 weeks because it is going to be all about rotational motion. Just like linear motion, rotational motion is divided into two, the kinematics part and the dynamics part. So for 1 week, we're going to discuss the kinematics part, and then in the second week, we're going to discuss the dynamics part. Now, the discussion regarding rotational kinematics will be divided into two, the part 1 and then the part 2. So today, we're just going to discuss part 1 of rotational kinematics. But first, let's have the objectives of Module 8. The objectives of Module 8 are the following: calculate the moment of inertia about a given axis of single object and multiple object systems, calculate magnitude and direction of torque using the definition of torque as a cross product, describe rotational quantities using vectors, determine whether a system is a static equilibrium or not, apply the rotational kinematic relations for systems with constant angular accelerations, solve static equilibrium problems, and apply the torque angular momentum relation. For this presentation, here are the subtopics: angular quantities, rotational kinematics equations, sample problems using rotational kinematics equations. Look at the screen. What can you say about the object's motion? Yes, obviously the ball is rolling, right? And when things are rolling, the object is rotating or undergoing rotation, and then at the same time it is undergoing translation or translational motion. When we combine rotation and translation, we will get what we call rolling, meaning the object has rotational motion and at the same time it has linear motion. So if we're going to draw the vectors um, while the object is translationally moving, ito yung part na yon, this part is the part where the object is translationally moving. When we say translationally, it also means linearly. And then here are the vectors naman as the object is moving rotationally. When we combine them, we produce rolling, wherein it is already a combination of factors in rotation and factors in linear motion. So as you can see, meron tayo ditong V naught, we have V naught here, and which are linear velocities, okay? And then we have here uh, an unfamiliar letter yet. So hindi nyo pa alam. Tingnan pa lang natin kung ano ibig sabihin yan later on. And then we have the R, which is if this is a circle, if sure it's a circle, we know that the R is the uh, radius of the circle. Yan. And then when we combine it, meron ka ng itong unknown letter na to, and then this familiar letter with us, the R naught, and then the V naught, and then the R naught. Yan. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ano yan? Saan siya galing? Tapos, bakit may factor na ng R? And then, what's the relationship between the linear velocity and then this unknown quantity? We will discover that as we move on in our discussion. So, let's proceed para alam na natin kung ano yung mga yon. Let's start just like in linear motion, we started with kinematic quantities. So, here we are also going to start with defining, describing, and identifying the kinematic quantities, but this time we call them angular quantities so that we could distinguish them from the linear quantities. Ayan. So here is a table showing you the summary of the angular quantities together with their rotational, together with their linear or translational equivalent. So here you see the familiar letters we've discussed already in kinematic quantities. We have the letter D, the letter V, and then the letter A. Yeah. So if the letter D is in boldface, that's the displacement. If it's not in boldface, it's the distance. If it's letter V that is not in boldface, it's the speed. If it's in boldface, it is the velocity, or we can rewrite it as V with an arrow on top. Tapos the displacement naman could be the D with an arrow on top. And then the acceleration is of course a vector quantity, so that's supposed to be in boldface, or you can write it as A with an arrow on top. And then you're familiar already with their standard units. Yan. A meter for position, for velocity or speed, meter per second, and then for acceleration, it's meter per second squared. So each of these linear or translational quantities have has angular equivalence. Ito yon. Angular or rotational, okay? We can interchange those terms. For position, we have the angular displacement with symbol theta, okay? With standard unit radians or rad. And then for speed or velocity, we have the rotational equivalent of angular velocity. Ito yung nakita natin sa drawing kanina, yung mukhang maarteng W, that is actually called omega. So ito theta, familiar ka na dyan kasi usually ginagamit siya as angle, but this time, we're going to call it angular displacement, and instead of measuring it in degrees, we're going to measure it in radians. And then, moving back to angular velocity, again, this one is the Greek letter, lowercase omega, and it's a symbol for angular velocity. Angular velocity, again, is the um, rotational equivalent of the linear velocity or speed, and the measure of angular velocity would be radians per second. And then the equivalent naman of linear acceleration is what we call the angular acceleration. And this one is not simply letter A, that is the Greek letter lowercase alpha. Okay? And then it is measured in radians per second squared. Let's discuss each of these rotational motion equivalent of the translational motion quantities, as well as their relationship with the linear or translational motion quantities. Let's start with angular position. Again, the symbol for angular position would be theta, Greek letter theta. It is specified by the angle the reference line makes with the x-axis. So usually, our reference would be the positive x-axis. And based from your knowledge of geometry, as a specific line deviates from the uh, x-axis, ito yung 0 radians natin. 0 radian dyan. The theta, of course, increases until it reaches full circle of 360 degrees. So, ito yung ating theta. And then, aside from kinematic equations, we could also get the theta by dividing the s, or the arc length, by the radius of the circle. Okay? Where S is the arc length, of course, covered by the angular displacement. Ito yon. Yeah. And R is the distance from the axis of rotation or from the center, or in other words, the radius. So, bakit sinabi ditong hinge? May iba-iba tayong tawag dyan. Pwedeng pivot, pwedeng hinge. Basta, ito is the axis of rotation. The general term for that is the axis of rotation. Kasi 'di ba kapag hinge sa pinto, ayan, galing sa halimbawa nasa X, kapag X na nakasara pa yung pinto, kapag i-open mo siya, pupush mo siya so that it would go at a certain angular position. Okay? So hindi porke hindi na kumpleto yung full circle ng ating object, hindi na siya nagro-rotate. Okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag na partial rotation lang, hindi complete rotation. Just like what happens to our door. So usually the limit is 180 degrees, or yung ibang ang door hindi umaabot ng 180 degrees ang pag-rotate niya. Okay? So that's angular position. And just like um, linear position, it could also have different units. So sa linear position natin, pwedeng kilometers, pwedeng centimeters, any unit of length. For angular position, we could also have different units, just like the degree, yan, which is yung usual nating nakikita kapag ginagamit natin yung theta in our previous lessons. And we also have the revolution. So here are the equivalents. The 360 degree is equal to 2 pi radians, and then 360 degrees is also equal to 1 revolution, which means that 2 pi radians is also equal to 1 revolution. Okay. Ayan. So those are the possible units for angular position, although again, the standard is radians. Okay, now let's proceed with angular velocity, denoted by the Greek letter lowercase omega, which describes how the angular position is changing with time. So just like velocity, velocity is the rate of change of position over time. Dito naman, nilagyan lang ng word na angular position. Okay? So for some time interval, delta t, delta t change in time. Remember that delta is denoting time, denoting change. The average angular velocity is given by omega with subscript average is equal to delta theta over delta t. Usually, you will see this delta t as t na lang. Bakit? Because we assume that all our motion starts at t initial equal to 0. Okay? So, wag kang malito kung wala-wala yung theta. Okay? Ibig sabihin lang doon na the motion started at t is equal to 0. Final minus initial. Kung 0 naman yung initial mo, di ba? Pwedeng alisin mo na yung theta dito. Okay? Yan. So, here it says, look at the picture. Of course, the theta increases with time at counterclockwise motion. By the way, since we are talking about quantities here, the angular position is actually a vector quantity, and its direction can either be clockwise or counterclockwise. Pag ganun din yung directions natin, pag positive, uh, counterclockwise, pag negative clockwise. So katulad dito, ayan. Clockwise rotation, omega is less than 0 kasi magiging, ano ba yan? Pangit na sulat ko. Negative. Imagine mo letter, ano yan, N. Negative. Tapos dito naman, if it's counterclockwise rotation, the omega is greater than 0, meaning it is positive. Okay? Ayan. Okay? Huwag mo nang pansinin yung z-axis, no? Ayan. So the same goes with our theta. If the theta is counterclockwise, it is going to be positive. If it's clockwise, it's going to be negative. Okay? Next, for angular acceleration, again, its symbol is the lowercase Greek letter alpha. So notice that in linear motion, we use the English alphabet, while in angular motion or rotational motion, we use the Greek letters or Greek alphabet. Ayan. Angular acceleration is defined as the rate of change of angular velocity. So, katulad lang din siya ng sa linear. Kung mapapansin nyo, halos pareho sila ng definitions. It's just that the quantities involved are different. Ito, nagkakaroon ng mga salitang angular. Instead of just position, we have angular position. Instead of just velocity, we have angular velocity. And lastly, instead of just having the word acceleration, we have the angular acceleration. And angular acceleration, we're going to deal with average angular acceleration na, kaya hindi na natin lalagyan dito na ang AVE. Okay? This one is the average angular acceleration, and we can compute it using this equation. Delta omega is divided by delta t. So remember, when we see delta, baka kasi nakalimutan na natin mga bata, we can expand that into final omega minus initial omega. Always considering their signs and direction in minusing. Okay? So here are the conditions naman to know whether there is angular acceleration or not. So 'di ba may conditions din tayo, three conditions sa linear acceleration kung kailan siya nangyayari. So syempre sa angular acceleration meron din gano'ng conditions. First condition is angular speed changes, meaning yung ikot ng ating circular object or ng any object either becomes slower or faster. Okay? Pag-ikot naman niya nun. And then, number two, direction of rotation changes. So, pwedeng from moving counterclockwise because of net force, it moves clockwise. Okay? And vice versa. And then number three, if both changes, bumagal or bumilis na siya tapos nag-iba pa yung kanyang direction. So, pwedeng bumilis siya and then from being counterclockwise, naging clockwise, o kaya naman bumagal siya from being counterclockwise to clockwise and stuff like that. So, ang pag-usapan lang nating direction dito, dalawa lang, counterclockwise, tsaka clockwise. Wala na yung south of east, wala nang ganun-ganun. Okay? Ayan. So here are the relationships naman between angular and linear relations, which happens when the object is rolling. Okay? Kasi again, when we say that the object is rolling, it has both linear motion and rotational motion. Hindi lang siya puro rotational. Okay? Kasi nagkakaroon na siya ng linear na movement. Okay? So here we have for the linear, ito, for linear displacement, we can relate it using this equation. X is equal to r theta. Okay? And then para naman sa velocity at sa omega, we could get the linear velocity equal to r omega. Notice na sa ibang libro, baka kasi malito kayo, may makita kayong dt o kaya naman v tangent. Ayan. The same lang yan dito sa V na pinag-uusapan natin dito sa relation. Okay? So, para maiksi lang tayo, hindi ko na siya nilagyan ang subscript. Because it's understood na V, linear yan. So, bakit VT or V tangent? Kasi notice in geometry, when a line is touching the circle or the curve at just one point, we call that as tangent line. So, dun nanggaling, kaya sa ibang libro, tinatawag siya na V tangent or VT. Okay? So, dito, understood natin na yung V na yan would be the linear. Okay? And then, as you can see, dito sa ating illustration, may makikita kang AC at saka AP. Yan. It says here, the AT affects the magnitude while the AC affects the direction. Since AC or pag sinabi nating AC, sulat ko na rin para pag nakita nyo sa ibang ang ibig sabihin ng C ay centripetal, which is an acceleration that is directed towards the axis of rotation or towards the center. Since ang naapektuhan lang naman niya is the direction, hindi ko na siya i-expound para hindi masyadong ma-overload yung mga utak niyo. Pinakita ko lang si A sub C. Okay, ang pagpupukosin natin is si AT or si A tangent. O remember, yung A, pwede mong makita yan as A lang o kaya A tangent. Pare-pareho lang ibig sabihin nila, which is linear acceleration. Pero iba yung A sub C, kaya may C siya dyan. So either you see A tangent o kaya AT o kaya A lang, that's linear acceleration. And we can get the linear acceleration by multiplying the radius or the distance from the axis of rotation by the angular acceleration. Okay? So kung mapapansin niyo, their relationships are direct. Pag mas malayo ka sa center, mas mabilis ang linear velocity mo. Pag mas malayo ka rin sa center, kasi direct, ayan yung R, mas, anong tawag dyan, mas mabilis yung pagbabago ng bilis mo. Okay? Next. So let's have the sample problems. Okay, sabi dito, a carousel is initially at rest at t is equal to 0. So yan, usually yung assumption that the motion starts at t is equal to 0. It is given a constant angular acceleration 0.060 radians per second squared, which increases its angular velocity for 8 seconds. At time is equal to 8 seconds, ayan, determine the following quantities. So we are going to look for three quantities here. The first one would be the angular velocity of the carousel. The second one would be the linear velocity of a child located 2.5 meters from the center. And C, the tangential or linear acceleration of that child. Okay, so although the object is just um, uh, moving um, rotationally, pag ganon, magkakaroon pa rin siya ng linear quantities if we consider the particles within the circular object. We know naman na yung carousel, composed siya ng different forces. Okay? Kaya may mga linear, ano pa rin siya, katulad dito yung bata, we consider it as one body that has both rotational and translational quantities to describe his or her motion. Kasi we consider it as just one particle in the circle. Okay? So the given would be alpha. Remember, alpha is for angular acceleration, 0.060 radians per second squared. Time is 8 seconds. The radius is 2.5 meters. Saan ko yan nakuha? Ito. Child is located 2.5 meters from the center. Okay? Saan ko yan nakuha? R. Remember, hindi lang radius ang ibig sabihin niya. It could also mean distance of a specific particle, component, or object from the axis of rotation. Okay? And then, sabi dito, may isa tayong hidden given initially at rest. Meaning, the omega naught or initial omega or initial angular velocity would be equal to 0. We would use that because remember, we have the equation with delta omega, diba? Doon natin yung gagamitin. So we are looking for the final angular velocity, the linear velocity of the child located 2.5 from the center, 2.5 meters from the center, and lastly, the tangential or linear acceleration. So for the equation, we would find the omega by multiplying alpha and time, and then we would get b or b tangent by multiplying radius by omega, and then we would get a tangent or linear acceleration by multiplying r and alpha. Ay, sorry. For solution number 1, we substitute alpha in time. So, hindi na pala natin kailangan si omega na. Tinake note lang natin siya. So, pwede nang ganyan. Bakit? Kasi kapag nilagyan mo naman dito ng plus 0, kasi pwedeng gawin mo dyan ay, di ba, galing sa alpha is equal to delta omega over t. Ayan. So, pwedeng maging 80 delta omega. So, hindi na nagmamatter yung 0. Okay? Magpa-plus 0 ka lang dito. Kasi remember, delta is omega minus omega naught. Ayan. So, kung i-transpose mo sa other side, magiging positive pero 0 naman yun. No? So, wala rin siyang epekto. Okay? Then, so the answer 1 would be, would be 0.48 radians per second. And then since we have the angular velocity already, we would be able to get the linear velocity using equation letter B. Ayan. So we substitute the R, 2.5 meters, and then the one that we computed from solution 1, 0.48 radians per second. Don't ever forget to include the units when you are writing your solution. And then your final answer would be D yan radians. Namali lang ako, no? Erratum. Dapat yan ay meter per second. Okay? Yan. So that's velocity is equal to 1.2 meter per second. And then lastly, to get a tangent, that's R alpha. R is 2.5 meters, and then alpha is 0.060 radians per second squared. Multiplying, we could get the answer 0.15 meter per second squared. Ngayon, ang tanong, bakit nawawala yung radians? Shouldn't it be meter radians per second? Actually, radians is a dimensionless unit. That's why um, we can omit radians and just retain meter. Okay? Ano yung dimensionless unit? Mahirap siyang i-explain. When we say dimensional unit, wala siyang standard. Okay? I mean, uh, wala siyang pinagbasehan and it's based from a pure number just like 3.14 kasi mapapansin nyo 2 pi radians. The radians there is just to denote that you have to include the pi in the equation. So it's a dimensionless unit which can be omitted so that we could have the standard unit for velocity meter per second. The same goes here. We can omit the radians because it is again a dimensionless imaginary unit that goes with pi. Okay. And then we could get the standard unit for acceleration, linear acceleration, which is meter per second squared. Thank you for listening to the part 1 of rotational kinematics. For rotational kinematics part 2, we're going to have the kinematic equations for rotational motion.